What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the HTM buddy build of the U.S.S. Reliant. I'm Jordan with A Line in the Stars.
And I'm Ken with Ken's Hobby Bench.
Oh, buddy. I actually got some work done this week.
I saw that, and it looks great.
Yeah, so I took a different recording method while building this. I don't voice over too often, but that's what's going to wind up happening here. In order for me to kind of build this, I needed time. I just needed time sitting at the bench, and I needed that time over the course of a couple of days. And so, yeah, wound up kind of the next episode will have me voicing over, which is going to be odd. I still have to finish the edit on it, what have you, but turned out really good. A lot of prep work at this point of the build, like when we're getting the lighting involved and we're getting all of the complicated stuff, the little light boxes and the different LEDs and all of that. It's a lot. Like there's a lot of work to do, and I envy you for being retired. I really wish that I really wish that I had the time to be a little bit more consistent with putting out these episodes. But for me, quality matters better than quantity. And so I definitely wanted to take the time. And so, yeah, got some work done this week, installing 15 LEDs into a piece of plastic that we have basically replaced at least a third of the plastic on. So yeah, no, it's been a good week. How's the modeling on the Reliant gone for you this week?
Good so far. And yeah, like you said, the retired part is really nice because I can come in here, just do a little bit of, light blocking or something, just spend an hour at the bench and then just leave it for a day to burn in or do whatever. So, but yeah, for this week, you're going to see me, and I got more work to do, but you're going to see me doing stuff like I finally got the Raytheon effect down on my pylons.
Cool. That turned out so good.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I had to bring it in a little bit so I can eventually I'll be able to run my wires from the nacelles here. But so I got that, and then kind of was having the same problem you were having. These just have some gray putty on them right now, holding the vents in, but I was getting too much light coming through here on the red. But I'm thinking now it's looking pretty decent.
Oh, you mean like that?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, I took the grills out, but yeah, no, that's like I know it's blowing out, and from my perspective, it's not as bad. But on camera, you can actually see the outlines of the LEDs. Yeah.
Just looking on camera and in person for mine, they look pretty much similar. It's dim enough that it's kind of showing almost what I see.
Okay.
Compared to how I'm sure yours is blowing way out.
Oh yeah, I've only resisted these down to standard resistor values for red LEDs, so it's a little higher of a resistor. It's I can't off the top of my head think of which one it is, but yeah, the red resistor, the red LEDs require a little bit, and so I threw a little bit on there. I am also going to have to do the same because yeah, it's okay with the grills on, but yeah, it's a little intense.
Yeah,
to say the least.
Yeah,
it really is.
And I mean, on the upside, when Starfleet ships go to warp, I mean, these will shut down when we go to turn the warp engines on. So,
yep.
So they won't be on necessarily all the time. Same with I believe the crystal goes off at the same time, does it not?
That's right. Yep.
Perfect. See, I'm learning.
Yep, exactly.
And then you'll also see I did. I think I'm good on my roll bar. Finally, I did have to use a few pieces of 0.25 millimeter plastic to shim in there in a few places.
Oh, really?
But, yeah, no, I think I'm good to go now.
Nice.
So
why'd you wind up having to shim it?
Just because the having the strips of the cob strips in the
oh yeah, for the Raytheon, right?
Yeah. So just on this side here, the side with those cob strips is the only place I had to use I didn't have to do it on the other side, on the back. So
okay.
And it wasn't the whole length. It was just a couple little places, but maybe my solder was a little too high or or maybe I didn't have a smooth enough routed channel. I'm not sure. So, but
Right.
no, I think I'm good now.
Nice. Excellent.
So, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on so far. I'm also looking to hoping to get my nacelles finally put together and start running my wires up through my uh, pylons here. Are you looking at doing any other stuff for your next video as well, or?
So for the next video, it's going to be all of this, all the back. I got plenty of content for that. For the next one, however, it's time. It's go time. Um, the light boxes need to be installed onto the saucer, the main body of the ship. I've gotten all of them light blocked and ready to go. All my LEDs are ready to go as well. So the next episode is going to be me starting out, doing some putty work, and taking care of a little bit of using some sheet styrene to fix some little errors around the outside here. But yep, taking care of the light blocking on the inside. Going to paint it black. And then I'm actually going to bring it back to white on the inside, at least for the middle, because with the cob strip here in the middle, I want it to be able to reflect as much light as possible. And so just going to light block it, bring it back to gray or white, one of the two, and then work on getting all of my light boxes installed. So yeah, lots to do, but really kind of, you brought up when we were talking before we started recording, we're getting really close to paint, and so that's the thing that's kind of been on my mind a little bit. So I guess, do we want to talk about paint a little bit now that we're getting a little close? We want to talk a little bit about what your approach for paint's going to be, and I think I'm confident enough to be able to talk about what mine is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we were talking for 20, 25 minutes before we even started recording. We said we should have done this as a live show to have people commenting. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I'm using the mass design kit, so I'm pretty much going to be going with the paints he's suggested, except for the blues. I think, watching his videos and seeing how those blues look, I think they look too light for me.
Mhm.
So I was watching Will's videos, and Will goes through what he tried and the different blues he tried, and then the mixture he ended up making. So I'm going to try to make something as close to as what he made. I know the one brand he said you can't really get at Hobby Lobby or Michael's anymore is Anita's, but I'm
Mm.
going to try Walmart and see if Walmart has Anita's paint.
So
If not,
you're
I can try some of
using
the other colors.
So for clarity, what you're going to be doing for anyone who doesn't know, you're actually going to be using craft paint, right? Like hobby paint.
Yep, just yeah, just exactly at what someone might use to on a poster board to paint a lemonade for sale sign, or that
Got it.
sort of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and that
it's
stuff's
dirt
kind
cheap.
of it's dirt cheap, but it's also not as refined, right? So you were saying you're having to filter the paint in order to get it
Yes.
working right.
Yeah, I ordered a set of paint strainers, or like paper paint strainers
Hmm.
that you can use for when you're gonna mix your paint to go into an airbrush. So I've got a whole bunch of those, and some Tamiya bottles. So I'll mix up my colors, and being able to hold on to them for a good long time if I need to. So yeah, I'll mix the colors, thin them down with water, and then I'll strain them, and then they should hopefully at that point be ready to go through the airbrush.
Cool, cool, cool.
And how about you?
So yeah, my approach is going to be different. So I'm using the Aztec dummy set. And I'm going to follow Lou's, method for, like putting his you know, doing the paint, but I think I'm going to use Tamiya colors in order to paint this one. I don't I've never used craft paints, and I don't know if I want to go through that process if I'm being real. And I think for like I honestly I would like to see, because there's so many similar things with our two builds. I really like them where we're going a little different, and so I want to try. I want to see what we can do about getting the Tamiya colors down, seeing what I can't do to replicate the colors from a Tamiya perspective. So we'll see.
And you know what? Tamiya's got a great range, so I don't think that should be an issue.
No, I don't either. I just, for me, like the one thing that I get nervous about with Tamiya is unless I take my time and do it slow, like namely clear coat in between each one of the rounds,
Mhm.
the Tamiya tends to scratch off a little bit, I've noticed, especially when masking and removing those masks
Right.
over time. And so it's going to have to be put the color down and then clear, and then, you know, next step, so on and so forth. Um, so I don't know. Am I saving time? That's the ultimate question. So yeah, now that I'm sitting there talking about it, I'm like, maybe the other way is not so bad.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna have to think about that. More to come.
But other than that, no, I think I was going to say something about I think I'm ready to move on here and hopefully get my lighting kind of closed up as best I can and get
Yeah,
ready to move
same.
on with the painting.
Yeah, I'm ready to get this thing cinched up as well. I'm curious to see how everything's all going to fit as well. So, yeah, that's the ultimate test. I do feel in some of my dry fitting that this piece mates up with this one really nice, but the top of the saucer feels a little weird. So, I don't know. This is an AMT kit. We can't forget that. Um, I do
Yes.
feel though that I'm gonna have to do some shimming and cutting around the back here because I'm not. It just something doesn't feel right when I install this piece, and so yeah, I'm. That's my next main question. Like all the lighting, getting all the wires, all that done. That's easy. That's the fun part. Um, it's gonna be how does this thing fit together and how well does it do that? So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
curious.
Never underestimate the power of shimming.
Very true.
It's a great technique and it save you on putty and save you the hassle of having to sand, putty sand, putty sand, putty sand.
Yeah, you know what? You know what they say in the car industry, never paint your car black unless you have a good painter. Um, I am finding that my sanding work leaves much to be desired. So as soon as I put the black over the top, I was like, oh my.
Yeah.
So there's some work that needs to be done. So yeah, there's this piece is heavily modified. I will just say that. Heavily modified.
Oh,
Everything in
yeah,
here
for
has
sure.
basically been replaced.
Yep.
So
The
yeah,
doors, uh, the
the tractor beam
tractor
emitters, the
beam emitters,
RCS
yeah,
thrusters.
the entire the entire um, housing for the impulse engine, the grills back, like yeah, it's just a little bit of frame really is all that's original.
Yeah, that's what you can say about this model. It's mostly resin, somewhat plastic.
Yes, for sure.
Well, all right, my friend. Well, it seems like we are ready to roll. Can't wait to see what your next video brings.
And I'm looking forward to seeing your next video as well. All right, welcome back to my bench. We're going to continue on right now, working on the rear of our ship here. I'm gonna prime this in a gray now, and then I'm going to look at doing the things I need to do to get it set up and have the lights installed. So I'll get the light boxes put in. I'll get these little holes here. I'll get them set up with some uh, UV resin or whatever the case may be. Some of them have already been kind of covered in a little bit. I was over zealous again with installing these. So, however, I was able to clean them up, so it wasn't an issue, which is good. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on right now to start with. So I will go and get this primed up, and we'll be right back. As you can see here, I've got the primer all on, and it's looking really good. You can really start to make out those detailed vents and everything down here. and everything else. Now, I do need to do a little puttying around here, as well as down below this vent here and on the other side. So I'll get working on that. I'll do a little bit of a puttying job. And for that, I think I'm going to use, for that I'll be using some Viejo plastic putty here. So what I do with this stuff, I know I was talking to a friend of mine here the other day about using Viejo putty. So with this stuff here, it's got a fine tip applicator. You can just kind of squeeze it in, and then right away I take a Q-tip and I just put it in my mouth just to damp it, and I just come in here and just wipe it in there. Now you may end up having to do several passes of that, which is not a big deal. So we'll come back down on this side now, because this stuff does clean up with water, but you don't want to let it sit for too long. So like that, and again like that. You see, it's really kind of cleaned up our excess putty there, just like that. And again, we'll come back on this side. Because ideally with putty, yes, you can sand it. The Viejo putty is not very good for sanding, but it does clean up really easy with water. And again, I'm not using lots. I'm just basically just putting it in my mouth to just get the Q-tip a little bit damp. That's all. And then there we go. So that's cleaned up nicely. We'll go around and just make sure. And then we can see that I have just a little gap right there. So I'll just come back in and I will put a little bit more there. There we have it, nice and cleaned up. And I got rid of that little gap. So that's it. I will carry on here. I'll do these two off camera here, and we'll come back and we'll keep working with our lighting. Okay, now I've wired up 7 blue LEDs here, 3mm, just to put into these parts right here. So we have our parts that go behind the shuttle bay here. So they'll just kind of go back in here and do something like that. And then we'll be able to put our lights in and light up our shuttle bay doors. Just we have lights around there, as you can see. So there we go. I do need to clean this up a little bit here. Get the primer off of those areas that already have solar res on them. But that'll give us our blue lights around our shuttle base, which is really good. So that's good. They'll be left to burn in for 24 hours. And then also that gives us one blue light here for our impulse crystal on the top of the ship. So there we go. So that's our 7 blue lights. I'm going to let them burn in for 24 hours. And well, let's move on to getting some other LEDs ready. With the 7 blue lights now that are burning in, I now have 2 red LEDs and an orange LED to go on the rear here of our impulse engine. So those are going to go in here. So they'll be burning in now as well for 24 hours. And let's carry on. So it's been over 24 hours here. My lights have all burnt in and they're all looking really good. So now I can disconnect them and we'll move on. So what we're going to move on to now is the back of our shuttle bay area and impulse deck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test fit these in here, these pieces here, the clear ones, and the grills. So I'm gonna, it's a few, a little, yeah, you know, I'm gonna sand this down just a little bit, as well as these. You can still feel a little bit of the connection points a little bit, not bad. But I'll do that, and then it's also gonna help with a diffusing effect. And at the same time, I'm gonna use some Rust-Oleum spray to also diffuse it as well. So let's get ourselves this is a medium sanding stick. I'm just gonna give this a bit of a sand. Now there is a bit of detail on here, right in this middle part. I don't know why it's there, but I'll avoid sanding that. And just kind of, you can kind of hear the texture that was that makes up these 3D printed parts as I'm sanding with the different layer lines. Now remember, resin dust is not your friend. It's not good for your lungs, so keep that in mind. What you can do while sanding resin is you can also wet sand. That'll help keep the dust down, is another option. So just keep that in mind. You could always wear a respirator. If you have a spray booth like I do, you can run that to keep the air particles down. But yeah, so I really shouldn't pick this up and blow on it. So instead, I'll just wipe it down on my pants. There we go. Nice and clean. I'll do the other side. There we go, nice and clean. Okay, so that's done. Now we can come on to these parts here and give them a bit of a sand. This is the aggressive side of the stick, and this is the medium, not quite as aggressive side. So we'll use the not quite as aggressive. I'm also going to want to think about spraying this in like a clear red as well. So that's an option. But it doesn't take much to do that. There we go. So now we have, it'll be a little bit light diffused, so which is good. And it looks like we have a little bit of a nick out of there. But again, that's not going to be an issue because this part is going to be over top of that. So let's get our spray. Let's get it up here on my... So this is the Rust-Oleum frosted glass. Works good. I got the idea from using it from Jordan. So he's the one who told me about it. So that's what I'm going to use. So give me a moment. I'll spray this down and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've given my frosted glass spray a chance to dry here. And now what we can do here is we can put this in place. So we want to make sure the hole in the back of this piece here is to the higher side, not the lower side, which puts this triangle with the bottom, like base of the triangle towards the bottom. Just like that, and that'll line that hole up for our orange light, and then we'll have two red lights there. Now we also have these diffused clear light lenses that will go in here as well. So let's figure out which way they got to go. Let's see if I can get these these in there first. Okay, so I got the lenses in. Let's put this main piece in like that. It should drop in. There we go. Now it may be a little tight due to this spray I've put all over it. And this one lens has popped out a little bit. There we go. Put it back in place. And let's take a look with our lights and we'll see how this looks. Alright, so here's our lights plugged in. Now I've gone ahead and sanded each one just with like a sponge, sanding sponge. Just kind of fog them up a bit. So let's take that and I'm going to take some of my white putty that I was using to hold the parts as I was spraying, and I'm just going to temporarily tack these into place. So kind of like that. And then we'll take our two reds, one there and one there. Let's just put a little tack on there as well, just to hold it there while we move this all around and take a look and see how it looks. So still got those pretty red hot spots. One negative pulled out. Let's reconnect that. There we go. Yeah, so we still have the hot spots in there. Nope. Let's try this way. Oop. There we go. That popped out. And this one there. Well, that's going to be our effect. Now I'm going to have to do something else to diffuse this, I think. So yeah, I'll play around. I'll try and come up with some ideas. But anyway, that's going to be our lights in there. Let me do that. See if that helps. Helps a bit. But yeah, I'm going to have to do a little bit of thinking. I'll talk to some of the members of HTM, Hobby Time Modelers, and see if they can shoot me any ideas and figure out a way in there. I may end up using some, I have some diffusing material I could also put in there. Maybe that might work. So just some options. But that's going to be what we're going to have. The color looks nice, but those hot spots are quite apparent even in person. So that's something to keep in mind, and something I'll work towards. So I won't be installing these permanently just yet, but yeah, I'll get to work though on these lights here for our landing bay, and we will be right back. So I'm going to have a bit of a change of plans here. I've decided now to start working on the Raytheon effect here of our pylons so that they're finally done and out of the way. So what I have here is I have the decals, and 16 and 17 here are the ones that are going to go on the pylons. So what I need to do is measure them and find out kind of my length and kind of my width. So I need to be about, I'll say 32 and 32.29 is what it says. Let's see how that's looking on here. So these are going to go kind of just slightly above this, where this part here angles up. So somewhere in there. So these all be long enough, or wide enough, or long enough. So that's not an issue. So let's take a bit of a straight edge. Let's just use this and my pencil. So let's mark right off this line, this white line here on the cutting mat here, and we'll just, for each of these, we'll consider that our starting line, so that we can kind of have 4 of these done up. You know, that didn't come out as well as I'd hoped. That's let us try a pen. There we go. All right. So 32.29, we'll say is here, and we'll say is here. And we'll just keep on going down and marking each one off. There we go. Now, let's draw those lines in as best as I can as well. And they should all roughly be in a straight line as well. So that's what we'll go for. And I am going to end up rounding these off a little bit. I don't want to keep them as square boxes. Okay, so let's put this back and 0 it. And now we'll take a look at our decals again. And the widest point about there, and we'll say that is about somewhere in there. We'll go a little bit wider. About 9.5 mil. I got 9.48. So what we'll do is we'll come down here and we just make it around there, and we'll tighten that off so it shouldn't move, and we should be able to just grab a couple lines. All right, so there we have them. So what I'll do now is I'll kind of cut them out, and then I'll round them off a little bit, kind of with the scissors or whatever, and just kind of make them more, you know, that shape. So kind of, there you go. So you kind of get the idea. That's what I'm going for. So that's what I'll do for each one, and then we'll get them in place, and then we should be able to go ahead and prime each one with our black on the inside, and then with a white. And then what I'll do after that is I will go around and I will feather around the outside, so just a little bit, hopefully will kind of touch the inside and kind of give us that faded look, so it's not as sharp of a line. So most of my Raytheons I'm keeping that way. I'm keeping them so they're not that sharp. The only ones I saw that were really sharp on the footage of the Reliant was the ones right here on the the roll bar arms. Those ones were very sharp in comparison to the rest. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll cut these out, and I'll be right back when that's done and in place, and we'll take a look at them before we head off to the spray booth. So I'll be right back. I have the first two in place. I've kind of got the ends kind of rounded off a bit. You can see it's going to be really tight for getting our wires past here, but this end is where the tail tails off with that logo, the Federation logo, or the pennant. So at least that way I can kind of fade in maybe a little bit more to this side and leave a little bit more space for running my wires up here. So just as a note. Also as a note, I'd originally taken out these pins back here, but you're also going to have to take out these front pins as they too get in the way. So you're going to have to go without pins, which is not a huge issue. So what I ended up doing was for this one here, it's just like the receiving one. You can just come in here with your sprue cutters and just kind of go like that. Not much of an issue there, and then just kind of give it a bit of a sand, just like that. And then for this one here, again, I ended up, let's see if I have to do it again. I just cut out the sprue cutter. And then I came in with my chisel and just chisel it a little bit more away. There we go. And then I would come in here with a sanding stick and just finish it off. It's just a medium sanding stick. So there we have it. Now I can carry on. So again, just I'm cutting the squares out and then rounding them off and putting them in place. So I'm going to carry on doing that. Just thought I should let you know about those pins and what my experience is. So be right back. You can see here I've got my Raytheon effects blocked off, and I've gone along and kind of masked off at least half of each of these connection points, so that way it makes for a better gluing joint and I don't have to worry about it later. So what I'll do now is I'll come in and I'll spray this all a nice light blocking black. I'll probably just use some of my Mr. Finishing Surfacer 1500 black from Mr. Hobby, and then after that I will come in with a white, and then I'll remove the Raytheon effect and then kind of just come in really lightly and just kind of fade it so it doesn't have that as sharp of a look. And at that point too, I'll probably fade the back a little bit so that it the back I'll fade that back a little bit so as to allow me to run my wires up there all sneaky like without them hopefully showing up on the Raytheon effect. So let's get to the spray booth and I'll come back and show you what I got. Alright, so here's our parts now. They've been primed in black and in then white. So it was two coats of black and then 2 coats of white. So what I can do now is I can go through here and remove my Raytheon masks and then create a fading effect around them. So, this one tore. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade around them and fade out the back more because that's where I want to run my wires. So what I'll do is I'll pull these all off, then I'll head back into the spray booth and do the fading, and we'll come back and we'll look at it with a light. So I'll be right back. Alright, so we're back here now. So I've kind of got a Raytheon effect pattern kind of sprayed in here, as you can see, and I've got my filament LED. Now, full disclosure, I already broke a couple of these They are very fragile, so you got to be really careful with them. You can get the type that is bendable. These are not. These are the cheaper ones that are just straight and not bendable. And I've resisted it at 120. So, and this is kind of the effect we're getting. You can see that on screen. So that's kind of our Raytheon effect. So not bad. I'm happy with that. And I think I'm ready to continue on with that. So that being said, here now I can look at putting those in permanently and making sure they're in there with enough room for the rest of my lights to be chased up behind them. So I will move this around just a little bit, but that's going to be the way they are. So I'm going to get them both secured in there really well and get them ready to go, and we'll come back with something else. So I'll be right back. All right, with the Raytheon effect done and our impulse engines and everything else done, I'm going to continue working. What I'm going to try and do now is get back to my warp nacelles here. I'm going to try and get them closed up and ready to go, and including running the wires through the pylons here and past the Raytheon effect, and hopefully I won't have to adjust its layout. So we'll find out here soon enough. So give me a minute to move things around here and I'll be right back. All right, so here I'm with the nacelles and I've had some setbacks. So for one, my red light here, the negative came off the connection, so I have to resolder on a new negative and then reglue this in place. And then also one of my RCS thrusters broke off, and I believe it's this one here. I have glued it back in. The stem is still in there, so I just kind of glued it there with the stem. So I'm gonna have to still attach my RCS thruster light in there. And something I'm also going to need to look at is I'm going to have to put a light back here just to see where the Raytheon effect comes down below the fin here, and then get rid of that so that it's not projecting below the fin. So, which will also allow me to run my RCS thruster light wires a little easier. The way I'm thinking about it now, the red light here can be tied in with the RCS thruster light because there's going to be a common on all the time. The warp nacelles here will go be run up. Now all these here I'm going to have to run. Actually, no, this would be this one here. They're going to have to be run all the way behind as best I can with the other wires in behind these lights. So RCS thruster lights. So kind of like that. Now I'm hoping the other lights will. Just looking here, I should be able to run another braided one here, which in this case would be this one here. And then the others, this should be low enough too that the others should be able to stack on top. Just looking at the height here. Worst case, I may be able to run a single line over here if I need to. Hopefully I don't have to, but looks like we should be okay. But yeah, so I'm going to get to work on that. I'm going to resolder on a new negative and get this in place. And I'll come back here step by step as I'm going, and I'll show you how things are progressing. All right, so just to update you with my progress here, I've taken my flasher, or sorry, the light here for the thruster, RCS thruster here, and so I've brought it across over around here, and I've connected it with this light here because as far as I'm concerned, they'll always be on. And then I've kind of linked them up over here. Now, They've also been connected with lights from over on this side. So these two are now wired together. So on this side here, we have our spotlights coming out. They'll also be on the main. So they've kind of come in here with the ones that'll always be on, both positive and negative. And then also coming off this side, we still have our green and blue here for our Raytheon effect. And then our white and blue and white here for the strobe flasher at the back. So that's everything there, ready to kind of be sandwiched together. And at which point they should be able to be run up our there we go. If I can get that together, so it should be able to be run up our pylon. So just making sure this is all going to go together as it should. Yeah, so there we go. This part here is going to have to go in the front yet, so we'll get that in place. What I'm going to do with the plans with this art is to paint it the black color I want, and then mask it off so that this the bar up the center here can be painted the hull color and whatnot, and then the mask can be removed after painting is done. So there's that. But yeah, other than that, things are looking good and progressing. So I'm going to carry on and try to, you know what, I think I'll put some foil tape over this RCS thruster back here as well to prevent light. So the next step for me will be to, after I get the little tape on here, or maybe before I put the tape on, I'll come back in here with a light and figure out where I need to cover up for underneath the fin here for Raytheon. So I'll get that done, and then I'll look at start putting my wires coming up my pylons. So okay, I'll be right back. So that's it. That's our completed nacelles for lighting. I've got my spotlights. I've got Raytheon effect. I've got the blue for the warp effect. I've got the red lights on the top, and I've got the flashers down here. Now, I've been having little connection issues here, so don't worry if anything goes out right now. But I also have on the back here, I don't know how well you can see it, I have my yellow flashing lights going. I know it's hard to see, but those are also flickering as well. So that is all done. So you can see here I kind of, yeah, just getting to adjust my connections here. They'll be fine when I'm not jamming them all into just like 2 alligator clips like that. I'll neaten them up. Once they get back into the hull, it'll make more sense. So that's it for those lit up. Now I think the next step will be to add our pylons and run the wires through there so that we can then look at buttoning this all up and then working on our seams. So let's get our pylons on. Alright, so if you remember, I taped off these areas here so as to allow for glue to work better on them. And not so much on the outside, it didn't matter because I didn't paint there yet. So we're good there. But what I did here is I sanded down this part right here so that I can apply my Tamiya extra thin cement, modeling cement on there, because that's what I want to use more so than CA glue. Like the modeling cement is meant for plastic. What it does is it does I know you probably know this, or for those of you who don't, it does a great job at welding the plastic by basically melting them, and then when they re-solidify, they join, they're basically back into like a weld. So it's like a weld action glue. So that's what I'm doing here. And I've just kind of got this sanding sponge here just to kind of hold it up so it's somewhat in the right position. I can give this a few minutes to start to dry and go off, and then I can correct it a little bit more if need be, and odds are I'm going to have to. So I'll let that sit for a few minutes, and we'll come back and we'll see where that puts us. As you can see here now, I have my wires all starting to come through here. I've kind of got them secured up to this point here, and I've been checking, and it doesn't really seem to be interfering with my Raytheon effect, which is great news. And it looks like I just need to bring these over just a hair, just around this area here, and it should be able to close up just fine. I may have to work to flatten some of these out a little bit more, but so far looking good. Let's see here. If I can line this up properly. There we go. And it looks like it's going to close up looks like it should close up. May have to clamp it a little bit or shim it, but I think it's something I can work with. So we'll continue to just sort these little wires out here, trying to get them as flat as I can while keeping them out of the Raytheon effect. And I think we'll have a great success here, and we'll be able to close this up. So I'm going to keep working at it, and I'll be back hopefully with some more to show you. All right, so there we have it. We have our first part of our pylon attached. It's glued in place. Right now the nacelle itself isn't completely closed up yet. I haven't glued in the pieces yet. The front part here isn't glued in, but it's just held in place. I don't know that it necessarily will need to be glued in. And then we also will need to put on this side of the pylon and get that into place. And then we'll be able to glue up the entire warp nacelle and begin sanding and priming. But I think that's it for this week. I've kind of run out of time, but don't forget to go check out Jordan's video at Aligning the Stars and see what he's gotten up to this week. I'd like to thank Will at the Ensign's Chair for getting us these parts and designing them. He's been doing an awesome job. If you haven't checked out him yet, I don't know why, because I keep mentioning him pretty much every week. So go check out Will at the Ensign's Chair. And also don't forget to go check out Cass here at Lake Monster Details. Lake Monster Details offers the legacy parts of Dawn's Light and Magic, as well as upgrade parts and details for accuracy, special effects, and lighting. So that's lakemonsterdetails.com. All right, everybody. Thanks again for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. But what was I going to say? Some Tamiya, or sorry, some Viejo perfect, or no,